and welcome to our post-draft special edition video, podcast, blogcast, whatever you may call it.
Yes, so we've had another successful draft in the history of the Sunday afternoon Delight League.
Some of us have had successful drafts.
That's true. We had a draft, we'll put it that way.
Some of us had successful drafts tonight.
And now we are here to grade your drafts for you.
Let's see. Should we start with who we think was the worst draft of the night?
Yes, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up to the top.
Just like Drake.
Be prepared.
Now we're here.
Be prepared to be underwhelmed.
Yes. So, leading off with our worst draft of the night, which, just personal opinion, everyone thinks that they had the best draft of the night. That's just how fantasy football works.
That's true.
We all think we're number one tonight. Least favorite draft, starting off with Jason Ard with a, what grade did we give him?
We gave Jason Ard a D++. It's a little bit better than a D+.
Sorry, Jason. That's probably better than his first year's draft, actually. So
yeah, and we kind of based that on the fact that his running back core is a little weak. He went Arian Foster and Reggie Bush as his starting running backs. He does have a lot of running back depth, if you want to call it that, with Trent Richardson, Stephen Ridley, DeAngelo Williams, and Sean Green.
Stephen Ridley.
He's got no wide receivers on his bench. He took 2 quarterbacks, which is always a good sign when you have 5 bench spots.
10-person league.
And it's kind of the old man team.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I guess Jason probably is the oldest man in this league, though. So
it's fitting.
Actually,
sure.
Chris is the oldest man in this league.
I don't know.
So D++ for Jason.
Well, there's, things are kind of looking up, though, because I'm sure Larry Donald's still on the waiver wire.
Yes. He'll only cost you an 8th round pick if you want to keep him.
Cross your fingers, Jason.
Exactly.
Next, number 9, we have Hunter, who drafted at a restaurant, I think, while eating mac and cheese with his kids, / drafted on his ride home to his house, and then drafted at his house, so may take a record on most places drafted in one night.
Yeah,
I believe.
Most draft locations, I think Hunter's hitting it. He also never joined the Google Plus Hangout, so not really sure what happened there.
Gonna have to knock you on that one.
But we decided that his wide receiver core, unlike Jason, his wide receiver core was a little bit weak. We don't really see a clear-cut number 1 wide receiver. He's got Alshon Jeffrey,
Number 2 wide receiver.
Crabtree, Decker,
Terrible quarterback.
and Riley Cooper.
Racist.
Total racist.
Not to mention the racism of Riley Cooper, but he also took the wife-beating
Ray Rice. So congrats, you have a wife beater and a racist. So I hope your team burns in hell.
Yeah,
the most politically incorrect team in the entire draft. Congratulations.
Not to mention, he also took 2 quarterbacks.
That's true. Good job. Next, we have Drew with a C-. That's better than a C-.
That's true.
Not as good as a C+-.
That also true.
So, Drew, your number 1 running back is Alfred Morris, who last year kind of sucked.
Very disappointing for me last year. Very disappointing.
It's all right.
I'll never go back.
C.J. Spiller, number 2 running back.
Very injury prone.
Boomer bust again, I guess.
He's a good number 2 back.
You've also got your number 1 wide receiver is not necessarily a clear-cut number 1 wide receiver in Randall Cobb, who's fighting for receptions with Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
Garcon, Wayne,
fighting
Golden
Deshaun
Tate.
Jackson, Reggie Wayne, fighting T.Y. Hilton.
Golden Tate.
You do have Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham. Great 1-2 punch, but if they're both off, then your team loses.
That's true. That is true.
So that is your C-.
All right. Moving on to Jason Harris.
Ooh, you got the vaunted only C++ of the night.
He also led the draft in phone picks because I think he had to work.
Thank God for that app tonight.
Yeah. He started off strong. He had Aaron Rodgers and Matt Forte. You stole my pick of Matt Forte, by the way.
Jordan was very distraught over that.
But you also...
Your wide receivers
are a little shitty. Your number 1 wide receiver is Victor Cruz. And I don't know if you caught the preseason, but the Giants' offense was terrible. No offense, Chris.
It's okay. They've been performing abysmally.
Larry Fitzgerald is 90 years old, and Carson Palmer, who throws to Larry Fitzgerald, is also 90 years old. So I guess they get along. T.Y. Hilton is a little boomer bust. You got Julius Thomas.
Great pick. Terrence Williams, I think, will be a really good flex this year. Other than that, you got a lot of rookies. Marquise Lee, Carlos Hyde, Jeremy Hill, and Cecil Jorts.
Yeah, and
He's drafted on hope.
Another player who drafted 2 quarterbacks.
Cecil Jorts. That's the name of your team.
Next, number 6, we have myself. You may say, wait, S.A.D guys, you run this podcast. Why would you rank one of yourself 6? We looked over all the teams, and we feel like my team is the 6th best team in the league.
It's very objective.
We were very objective in our rankings, and Chris and I ranked Cameron's, and Cameron and Chris ranked mine, so it's all fair. You reached a little bit with Jay Cutler. I think he's going to have a good year, but we'll wait to see on that one. I think you really like the question mark players.
I'm a
like
robust
those
guy.
players that are high risk, high reward, as Chris put it. You took Kelsey and Freeman and Welker and Sanders, who are on the same team, and Cutler and Doug Martin, who, if they're applying themselves and performing at the top of their abilities, then they're going to have great years. But
Doug Martin, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'll never draft you again, I promise.
I'm high on your running backs. I think Doug Martin's due for a rebound. I like Jamal Charles, obviously, and
I think Kyle Rudolph is the next Jay Novacek. So
yeah, exactly.
I thought the sneaky pick of yours was Fred Jackson. I think Fred Jackson's going
to score touchdowns. That's all he's going to do. All right, next we have our second place team who lost to his wife in the championship last year.
Who did he
Jacob
lose to?
Sloan. It was his wife. I don't know if you remember that.
I forgot.
With the B- plus. So, Jacob, we have basically your team hinges on Nick Foles repeating what he did last year, which is kind of tough to do.
Yep.
And then Gronkowski not getting an STD this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, we all agreed that your top 2 wide receivers, Dez Bryant and AJ Green,
Obviously.
are the 2 best receivers.
But I also feel like your
in
running
the league,
backs,
but your running
Stacy and
backs are
Gerhardt,
terrible.
2 starters.
He didn't reach for them, though. I feel like he got them at
They
good
were-
value
yeah.
picks, at least.
But you got to do better than
Nobody
that.
asked
Yeah.
you, Chris.
I'll show myself out.
I will say that I like the pick of Brandon Cooks. I don't remember what round you took him in.
I do like Rashad Jennings as well.
It's pretty good.
Solid flex
all
choice.
around. You did all right. You did all right. You did better than Stefan. So
No, you didn't, because Stefan
you didn't.
is the next one. Good job, Stefan. We have you as the 4th ranked team with a B. Just a great, solid B, Stefan.
Coming in with a tie for 4th is Stefan with a B. Middle of the road. He's got a very solid squad. He didn't reach for anybody. He's just kind of got those old
Andrew
reliable
Luck,
players.
solid. Monte Ball, he's a Peyton Manning running back, gonna be good. Gio Bernard, he's boomer bust, but I think he will get most of the carries. Calvin Johnson, Keenan Allen, I think are gonna wreck shop.
Yeah.
Torrey Smith, number 1 wide receiver. Jason Witten will catch 80 balls. That's what he always does. Your flex, you have Darren Sproles right now. You'll probably start Kendall Wright. I think he's going to be really good this year too. So,
but overall, I think we give you a B for no balls because you reached on no one and you went by the book.
You're a solid,
very
solid wuss.
Stephanie, if you ever see this podcast, I want you to know that we were all astounded at your picks. We were very much impressed with several of Stefan's picks. So,
all right, tied for 4th with Stefan is Chris with a B, which Jordan and I ranked.
But Chris's B stands for badass.
Of course.
Chris got Kaepernick at a fairly decent price. He's got Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy with the 8th pick, which is probably the 2nd best steal of the draft, I would say.
Second best.
Didn't think he lasted the 8th pick.
And as we go through these picks, you'll realize that Chris's players are very undervalued, very underrated. And he's got a very buy low mentality. I think he's worked the stock market before.
Because Brandon Marshall is gonna tear shit up. Andre Johnson, number 1 wide receiver.
Solid.
Buy low on Ben Tate and Cordell Patterson. I think they're both gonna have big years this year. So Greg Olsen, very underrated tight end.
Ryan Matthews is the 3rd running back.
Actually, probably one of the deepest benches in the league. Chris Johnson, Kai Robinson, Danny Amendola, Hakeem Nicks. I think that's a solid bench for some bye weeks there.
I like it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So good job.
All right.
1 thumb up.
You get 1 thumb up.
I'll take it.
All right, next. At number 2, Chris and I ranked Jordan as the number 2 with an A- B+. Jordan, Adrian Peterson with the
Tell me how good I did.
4th pick. You had the 4th pick?
I was really surprised.
Jordan was shooting for Forte.
Yeah.
Got Peterson, who has scored at least double-digit touchdowns every year he's ever been in the league. So that's a solid. He's going to score.
It's good value
touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell, as long as he doesn't drink and drive anymore, I think he's going to be a solid 25 carry a game back.
It was for possession.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
it's a little more illegal than that.
Antonio Brown led the league in receptions last year. Julian Edelman right up there leading the league in receptions last year. Jeremy Maclin, the new number 1 in Philadelphia in a Chip Kelly offense. So solid group of wide receivers, solid group of running back. Matt Ryan at quarterback, I think he's going to be pretty good this year. His last year was kind of a fluky, crappy season. Money Bennett at tight end. He is in the new Trestman offense. He's going
to catch some touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to vulture some guys in the red zone. And
He's a big guy. He's a big guy.
He's a very tall guy. And then I think, Jordan has a very deep wide receiver core. I think that's going to help him.
He also has Pierre Thomas at the flex, who is a running back that led the league in receptions for running backs last year, and a PPR is very solid. And also has Roddy White, Danny Woodhead, Steve Smith, and Brian Hartline on the bench, which are all PPR monsters. So
you could be in a position to wheel and deal come
trade
deadline. Drew, I'm ready for trade offers.
Cool.
I'm ready.
Drew, you better trade. And next, I hate to say it, but our number 1 draft. Lindsay thought we were making fun of her all night, telling her about how good her picks were. We gave Lindsay an A- because, if not for anything, Marshawn Lynch in the 3rd round, which I easily the steal the draft. He could be a top.
The draft.
He's easily a top 5 running back.
Definitely
possibly.
steal the draft.
Just like Christine Michaels stole her heart.
Her best friend.
She thought we were being sarcastic the entire night, but no, we were actually very
We told
impressed.
you 10 times, and the 11th time we were not making fun of you. It's actually a really good draft.
Yeah.
Tom Brady has torn it up in the preseason. He's thrown like 90% completion this year. Andre Ellington, he's a 3-down back in Arizona. Demarius Thomas, we all know, is amazing. Julio Jones, probably the number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Percy Harvin is that wild card could possibly get.
But I like that
catches.
sort of a pick where you reach a little bit and you take a chance on a guy on like Stephen.
Yeah, you
who had no
just
balls.
reach around.
You got more balls than Stephen, and you did a reach around.
You did a great reach around.
Yes.
Tight end Jordan Cameron, best name ever. And then Mike Wallace is flex. I think that's really good. MJD on the bench. Dwayne Bowe.
I wouldn't have wasted a draft pick on
not bad.
Dwayne Bowe,
Not
but
bad.
That's my only.
But starting lineup, A-. Bravo. The champ. The first lady.
Yeah.
Of fantasy football. Lindsay, you've done it again.
Yes.
I hope you win this year, though, because I don't want it at my house anymore. Oh, that's so creepy.
All right, let's move on to our next segment. We've got another viewer email this week.
Yet again.
We do. This was, believe it or not, we did not make this up. This is an actual viewer email that I received 45 minutes before the draft, and it is from our own Hunter Crittenden. Emails me, quote, are we on Yahoo FFB, question mark. Best email I've ever received.
Somehow Hunter made it to the draft. He drafted from multiple...
3 different locations.
Yeah, 3 different locations and different types of electronic devices.
Yet didn't know that we were on ESPN, which we have been for the last 2 years. So, great email. I'm glad we didn't have to make one up this week. That was very impressive, Hunter.
If you beat me, I will cut your wiener off.
You can't make this guy up.
And Hunter made the playoffs last year. Just like our 2012 champion, Stefan, who emailed me in 2013 asking me, how do I get to our league homepage? So, I see a correlation there of people making the playoffs and just not knowing anything about what's going on.
That's the recipe for success.
Yeah. Just play dumb and then kick everybody's ass.
Yeah.
We need to learn that one. All right.
Who's Darren Sproul is?
Next, we have first week matchups. The league.
All right.
League starts on Thursday.
It's time to get going.
Packers and Seahawks play on Thursday. So
let's get into it.
Guys, set your lineups because they have to be in by Thursday.
Set your lineups.
If you have a Packer or a Seahawk.
Don't dilly-dally, call Jules F. Talley.
John Williams. All right, so the first game we have is me versus Stefan, in which
grudge match.
We gave myself a B-, Stefan a B. First off, Stefan, if you don't remember, I beat at the first game last year.
Did you?
Proceeded to lose 14 in a row.
That's true.
So in this one,
Stefan
is an 18-point favorite. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to kick your ass and then lose the rest of the games again. And I would be kind of happy with that.
I'm predicting a loss, and it's going to be a complete cycle. You're going to lose an entire season.
A losing streak over 2 seasons?
I'm going to say Cameron's going to turn this beat around, and he's going to beat Stefan this week and make it 2 years in a row.
I am down with that. Next game, Jacob versus Hunter. Jacob, second place in the league last year. Hunter is a 23-point favorite this week.
Wow.
Hunter, the same Hunter who didn't know what website we were using 45 minutes before the draft. So
I think I'll go first on this one. I think Jacob's always got a solid team. I can never bet against him.
I can either. I'm going Jacob. Sorry, Hunter.
Upset special, Jacob.
Ooh. Upset special.
All three of us.
Really went on a limb there. All right, next we have Jordan versus Jason Ard. Jordan, who we gave an A-B+ on the draft grade. Jason Ard, who we gave a D++. Jason Ard is favored by 10 points. So, you know what? Just for shits and giggles, I'm going Jason Ard because I want to see him win.
Fair enough.
Whose beard is bigger?
Ooh, Jason shaved, I think. He's like Samson. He's lost all his power.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jordan then.
I'm going to jinx myself and go with me as well.
Ooh, so Jason will win this week. Next we have Chris versus Drew, the battle of the people who don't think each other exists, even though they've both been on the Vlogcast before.
Drew is fictional. I'm going to win.
Chris with our first double special guest. You've been on here 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I know.
Chris is an 8-point favorite.
Yeah, I see that, and this might be my only one to go against the grain. This is going to be my against the grain pick, and I'm going to go with Drew.
Really, I'm going with Chris with his better running backs than Drew this week because
you're dead to me, Jordan.
Alfred Morris and C.J. Spiller suck. And finally, we have Lindsay versus Wiener. Lindsay, our previous champ, who we all know we gave an A-, the number 1 draft grade of the night, is a 10-point favorite versus Jason Harris, which we gave a C+-.
And I think surprisingly, Tom Brady's going to push Lindsay over the edge this week, and I think she's going to take it.
Sorry, Wiener. I'm going to go with Lindsay.
I'm going Lindsay too because she is badass.
I can't give her that great draft grade and then vote against her. So
that's true.
Lindsay, it is.
So thank y'all for watching our draft night special.
This is the shortest Vlogcast we've ever had, by the way.
Well, hurry up.
If we cut this off.
Hurry up, yeah. So we will be back next, hopefully next Wednesday, with our first Week 1 recap, Week 2
preview.
Pro-cap preview. That's a better word.
No, Pro-cap's good.
Pro-caps. And tonight, as you know, we have an outro song every week dedicated to someone in our league. Tonight, it is dedicated to everyone in our league because everyone believes they have the number 1 team. Everyone believes they're going to be a winner. And good luck, everybody.
May all your deepest fantasies come true.
Your deepest fantasy footballs come true. Cheers. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Everybody have a great season.
Cheers.
Happy birthday a couple weeks ago, Lindsay. We forgot that one.
No.
And good night.
Happy birthday.